decent, or will they be the biggest clown?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ignar definitely a character.
It was funny, yeah.
Well, happy to see too, because he was like, oh wow, you know, I had to play Enchantress for so long, I kind of almost forgot how to play melees. But his Alistar was looking like
clean.
It was just back on the bicycle, you know, good as new. They do ban the Nautilus against him, and Nautilus is, you know, one of the premier, you know, kill-oriented melee, you know, hook champions looking for point-and-click CC. So I wonder if that means, you know, the FlyQuest bottom lane here want to play some sort of like hyper carry, or at the very least some sort of carry for Massu that does not have a dash and would get punished more. Of course, Ashe and Seraphine, when you have Karma Band, Bard Band, and Nautilus Band, that hits the Ezreal Karma, it hits the Caitlyn Bard, and it hits any sort of Nautilus lane that you would want to pay into it. So Ashe Seraphine looks way better when all of those other supports are banned out, so they are going to go that route.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're going to allow them to have Ashe Seraphine, I mean, you could actually try to split it up and take the Ashe away, but if you're going to allow them to have Ashe Seraphine, you need a ganking jungler and you need to try to punish it. Like, we were actually talking about this on the dive. The win rate for Ashe Seraphine into what is the most common pro answer of Corki Nami is horrible for the Corki Nami. So they are going to try to break up the duo. They grab the Jarvan as well as the Ashe. So now it becomes the question, you know, which is the better half of the duo? And I always think this is interesting in League. We had this when Zyra Khan was super popular back in the days, and different teams would have different opinions about which is the more important half.
And we've seen some teams, you know, go with like Ezreal Seraphine instead. You still get poke damage. You don't get, of course, like super godlike slow combinations and stuff. But I assume they'll still go for something like that, and you still can get the poke damage, and it is good versus Ashe and most Ashe combinations. But then, you know, Ashe can also go for a lot more punishment. You've got a Jarvan jungle on your side, so you do have that ability to try and jump on the Seraphine.
Yeah, I wonder if they would go like Ashe Nico or something and try to play, you know, something a little bit more lane focused that's still in the meta, or if Ignar would just go towards, you know, an enchanter himself. I feel like, you know, Lulu to me is a weaker laner than Seraphine, so it is going to scale really well, of course, but I do kind of favor what FlyQuest has in the 2v2.
Personally, though, if I'm the Ambessa, just from Ambessa view, you know, we just saw the last couple picks in FlyQuest. They go Ezreal plus Ambessa.
Is not fun.
And then if you're locking in Ambessa and then you see a Lulu immediately on the other side, you're like, ah!
If you're the jungler, you say, hey, top laner, you want to play this?
Yeah.
This looks fun, this game.
Yeah. I think there's a very high likelihood still that Gryffinn does play it. You know, Gryffinn loves Ambessa jungle. He is a big carry jungler, so probably still play it here. But yeah, playing into Polymorph, playing into Lulu, it can be significantly more difficult.
All right, so Renekton ban going to come through. We've already seen Rise taken off the table. Palafox has been a pretty big fan of Anivia so far, you know, in this split. And over on the other side, Quad has been playing a variety of different things. His two most played still up and available in the Hwei, as well as the Annie.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. They're looking to take away as many blind picks as possible too for top side. You can tell for the Gakgos side, and it is a point of contention because the top lane champion pool here, you know, Gakgos has had a lot more success on non-tanks, and Photon has brought out some very fun counter picks with like the Sylas counter pick that he did into Gnar as well, and so. You know, this top lane focus actually here. Ooh, interesting. With Galio ban also could open up some more Rumble looks here, but it would need a little bit more CC to work with.
The Shen ban's also interesting because I know that Gryffinn played it in one of the EWC qualifiers in jungle, so maybe they were still respecting the fact that it could actually be a flex and do decide to ban it out. Of course, Impact also played it last week in top lane and did do quite well, and there's a Rumble as you called out. Ornn is still up and available, Sion is still up and available, but as you said, Gakgos really has not had that much success on the tanks. Of course, you know, it's not just on him, but FlyQuest is winless with Gakgos on tanks so far this split, and they are actually 100% win rate when he's playing carries. So has not really been working out for them, and could just be Annie has that primary engage that is comfort for Quad, and they are a little bit light on engage for sure. You know, with the Ashe being taken away, that is another wrinkle where they didn't kind of have that primary way to start the fight, and now they do with Quad on the Annie. And
Quad, you know, Annie is one of the primary engage champs that he does play. He doesn't play a whole bunch of engage mid, but that definitely is one. And Annie plus Ambessa plus Seraphine, now they've got it covered.
Yep.
Plenty for themselves, and it looks like they are going to do the swap for the Ambessa into the top lane, into the Rumble, and bring out Gryffinn's Pantheon.
Okay.
He got a giant grin, because if you saw ThinkGuard's tweet, who is also smiling right now, I don't know what they're talking about, but ThinkGuard was like, I tried to get Gryffinn to play Pantheon for 3 months, and he's telling me, the champion's not that good. And then Forest Within, or Forest Without on his other account, tweeted at you know, Gryffinn one time, and they had that kind of debate on Twitter. And then instantly Griffin's like, oh yeah, Pantheon's strong, and he has all these Pantheon games. And he has had quite a few very strong Pantheon games as well for Gryffinn. So definitely a fun one here that he's come around to, you know, and definitely enjoys. And also, honestly, Pantheon, with the point and click, works so well with all of these lanes. You know, point and click, great for Ambessa. You can guarantee Ambessa ults, or you know, you can try and use that one to get the follow up there. Anyways, with the Pantheon ult coming through, same thing for Annie. Lots and lots and lots of CC chains available here to FlyQuest. And if you're worried about, oh yeah, we've got melee carries and stuff, well, if you just have a whole bunch of melee carries, you can't polymorph us all.
Yep. But you can wild growth them if they're stacked up. So you
true.
Still have that. Also interesting to see Palafox locking in the Aurora, not a champion that I associate him with. Quad, we saw him play his first Aurora game last week, did quite well on it. And Palafox only has the 3 Aurora games all time and no Aurora games so far this year. So is 1 and 2 on the champion, hasn't played it very much, but does decide to bring it out against Quad's Annie. And I expect him to be able to have a pretty good laning phase, I would think, into the Annie. Should be able to have the range advantage there, and we'll see how he's going to be able to pilot it.
All right, FlyQuest versus Dignitas here. Both of these teams really looking to make some moves up the LCS ladder, and definitely need to start here.
Yep, it's going to be an important one here for Dignitas, still looking for their first win of the split as far as series are concerned. Had a couple of close series against both TL and Lion, and now trying to climb the table here. And it does start to get pretty important to pick up these wins. FlyQuest as well, you know, has been close a number of times, but 1 and 2, not exactly where they want to be. But this is a win that they would be expecting to be able to get, as we could see that Quad had made a move down towards bot side, trying to see if there was any level 1 play, and there was not. So now Palafox is going to get the early shove here, and it is going to be Quad getting familiar with the sights and sounds of his own tower early on.
Going to be on the receiving end, but all pretty easy so far. He got both melee minions in time, back to the wave. Not just experience, got the gold as well. So good job here for Quad.
Tower shots, double tower shot taken by Palafox.
We got it.
Quad had his Q stun prepped, or maybe it was a W, I'm not sure. We didn't see what spell he actually leveled, but Palafox went for a trade and did get stunned there, and now Palafox takes 2 tower shots, loses his flash, and he's going to be sent back to base.
I think we got to get a replay. So oftentimes we do replays for kills, but
here we go.
Yeah, we got to see this because he got tower aggro too. So he goes for an auto and immediately gets stunned as he's trying to hop backwards.
Greedy boy there gets punished. Is Massu going to trade out the barrier? The heal is traded back on the other side from Ignar. FBI is playing Flash Ghost, so he does not have that second combat summoner, as Photon getting rocked in that trade there by Gakgos. Puts him quite low, but Photon does trade back pretty nicely on the end of that.
Yeah, Quad didn't even have to do anything special. It was just definitely a little bit of a blunder there on the early game, but no summoner spells at all now for Palafox after having to teleport back after the early trade fiasco here. We'll see how that does kind of snowball, because if Annie gets lane priority and has teleport and flash available, you can start to affect the other lanes way earlier than you thought you previously could, especially in this matchup. So might have some ramifications for the rest of the members of Dignitas. Jungler's going to both finish their clears on the bottom side. Of course, We saw eXyu already kind of walking over on Vision, so they're very well aware of his presence. And because of the push bot and the extra ward, he's just going to give up that bot Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, it was nicely timed there on the ward from Cryogen. Had he been a couple seconds later, he would have been actually face-checking the Jarvan and could have gone bad. Hawkshot will spot Gryffinn, but he's going to be able to grab the first scuttle, and he's just running straight up towards that second scuttle because Quad has Prio in mid, and Gakgos has Prio in top, so eXyu running out there as well. It could be a fight for it, but I think this is probably going to go bad for eXyu if he does commit to it, given that Quad would be faster to respond here, you would have to think, and they will be starting up this scuttle. Gryffinn going to be looking to secure it, does secure it. eXyu goes in. Now Palafox actually going to be the first to arrive. Quad there trying to give some support, but Gryffinn going to have to flash out. Will survive, of course, but does get the double scuttle and looks to reset.
And even if you know you're not going to be able to go for this Smite steal, I like eXyu's idea here. Gryffinn is going to do a Q plus Smite on the Scuttle Crab to secure the Scuttle Crab. So you're not going to have your damage spells to fight eXyu afterwards. So eXyu says, fine, I will EQ you as you get the Scuttle Crab. And they earn the flash off of him. And if that allows you to counter jungle Krugs, then that's a big dub.
Yep.
So very positive play here for eXyu. Getting double scuttled is not even close to the end of the world and ends up being quite decent there. And no flash on Pantheon does reduce some of the potency of that gank pressure that could go punish the Palafox without flash in mid otherwise.
Yeah, and I mean, eXyu knew he was going to be winning that fight, as you said. He used a spell, but also he had the double longsword buy, right? Whereas Gryffinn had not yet been back to base. But I wanted to touch on Gakgos. I mentioned it during the draft, but they have had a lot of success with him on carries, you know, on these non-tank style champions versus him on the tanks. They're actually 0-4 with him on tanks on the Cassante, the Ornn, and the Sion. Haven't yet won a game. Of course, that's not just on him, but it is a pattern that I had been noticing where, you know, when Gakgos is weak-sided, when he is not on a carry that can kind of make the individual plays, he seems to have less impact on the game. And I think he has been struggling a bit on playing how to frontline, which is something you often see with a lot of young players that, you know, climb up in solo queue by playing carries. You know, how far you dive on a tank is more the difficulty of the tank, knowing your limits. As Gakgos is down a level here, Photon just going to drop the equalizer, and we'll be able to push Gakgos back, who did just teleport back. So maybe going to be forced to base. We'll see. If Gakgos can get 6, though, Photon could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, needs a bit more experience here to take over.
We're going to see Between Worlds as Palafox gets flashed on by Quad, and Quad, last auto coming through. The Tibbers burn, cannot quite get in range. Palafox will survive, and on the top side, Gakgos will not be so lucky, or will he? The last Electro Harpoon barely misses, and Gakgos gets out with his life, getting both of the flashes off of Photon and eXyu there, and surviving without even using the ultimate.
Equally as lucky, I guess, in fact, and flash is blown all across the map. Meanwhile, Gryffinn here was just working away on Dragon, so eXyu shows top. eXyu uses the flash here in the attempted gank, and that just means objective for FlyQuest. No blood on either side. Quad here really wanted to punish the flash advantage he had over Palafox, and he's got his level 6 advantage as well, so another Q stun was hit to set it up and drop the Tibbers as well. But as we know, it wasn't enough damage, and then wanted to go a little bit further.
Yeah, Palafox walked back in, which was the risky part there. He walked back in, then Quad flashed on him, and that's where he got him down to about, I want to say, an auto of health. Probably did keep him alive, but at the end of the day, Palafox survives, and now he has his flash back, and Quad is going to be the one missing his, so could be dangerous. eXyu just hit 6 now, so that is a pretty easy gank target, and you can see eXyu was hanging around mid lane looking for the opportunity.
Still no first blood as well, so you're going to have a pretty big W. Wait a second, we have a super deep ward behind Pantheon at the moment too that does see. And those wards, it's a very rarely checked brush, so as he walked from Krugs towards the red, it would see him. It's not going to see into like the health of the red or anything like that, but definitely a rare one to check, so we'll have the extra knowledge here for quite a while.
Yeah, and that one's already been there for quite a while. That was there after eXyu forced the flash from Gryffinn. So he actually dropped that very early on after that second scuttle was taken, and that brush has not yet been checked. That is one of the things sometimes you'll hear big complaints about from coaches, you know, when they're like, this ward was in that brush for like 10 minutes and we didn't check, and they're getting so much free info. And when you already have an Ashe on the other team, this is something you talk about a lot. it's already, you know, kind of this like map hack that's there for the Ashe team. So if you're going to get free vision on the top side from that control ward that's not getting checked, plus the hawk shot, it will be really difficult for Gryffinn to find an angle to get a gank.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that brush is in very few auto paths through jungle. And so you only really naturally check it when you're like resetting from base over to a quick red buff or something to go there, unless you're intentionally looking around. But sometimes when you're retaking an area of the map where you know you got invaded on, like the early eXyu path that you're talking about, then make an effort.
They're going to go in. The Grand Starfall comes in, and the ward was not enough. First blood claimed by Gryffinn as Gakgos set it up, and Gryffinn just knocked him down.
Beautiful combo there. Ambessa ultimate used to set up the landing for Gryffinn. And Gakgos on carries. Gakgos on carries is quite good and successful for them. Does get the first blood bonus, goes into the hands of Gryffinn. And bodes quite well, because if you get the melee carries ahead on this FlyQuest comp, they're going to have so many weapons to use when we get to the mid-game fights.
Absolutely, and he is strong. I'm really curious, though, if Gryffinn was visible on vision at all. Like, could he have known that he was up there? I didn't actually see where he pathed through, because we just talked about those wards on the top side and hawkshot and everything, but somehow he got up there and was able to find the gank, so.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He just walked down through lane. So he did
no counterplay.
Didn't enter his own jungle at all.
Nothing you can do.
You get a Pantheon ult from Fog of War right on top of your head. And yeah, I mean, Ambessa ult, when the enemy doesn't have flash, sometimes if you have really good responses and you have a move speed boost, you can dodge. Move speed boost like that. Nicely done, Quad. Dodges on the Ashe arrow, but
he misses the cannon, so it wasn't even worth it.
Rather get the cannon and get stunned and see what happens.
Exactly.
Afterwards.
You know, if you can't get the cannon, life's just not worth living, you know? Got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, might as well give over a kill.
Well, Quad feeling a bit uncomfortable, and now with Gryffinn behind him, he knew that he is vulnerable. He still was missing his flash, so that's why he's not walking up. He was worried, you know, that Ignar would be there, eXyu would be there, someone could be looking to punish that missing flash. But now, with Cryogen and Gryffinn around, of course, he has the confidence to step forward here. FlyQuest could be looking for a pretty quick second dragon if they are so inclined, as Massu trading back and forth with FBI. The bot lane's been pretty much dead even at the end of the day. You know, there was the push early going to Massu and Cryogen, but it hasn't really amounted to anything.
Yeah, farming away nicely. Both of these supports scaling quite well. And the solo lanes have been where a lot of the action is, a lot of the fun trades and dangerous trades. We've had a pretty competitive opening here. With just the single kill going over, but FlyQuest, you have to imagine feeling quite comfortable. Gakgos now with the early Hex Drinker as well, gonna feel very confident versus Photon. He already has the turret plate. He got the assist money at least from the first blood, and trying to work on the second turret plate. If you push one more in, that is very close to being taken. Since Gryffinn did get the actual kill credit, your full Sundered Sky is done, kind of matching eXyu here, and just keep on stacking dragons.
Yep, and they are going to do just that, starting that up. I was also going to mention, I think it's actually a really good Serpents game for Gakgos when you're thinking about Scrap Shield. You have, Massu going to shift right into that, gets stunned up. He does not have Cleanse. The peel's coming through. The barrier's there. The Grand Starfall, the Tibbers, everything getting thrown on eXyu. And eXyu barely has the damage to finish off Massu, but will be traded back. And now Palafox coming in. He goes across the veil. He's going to go between worlds as well. Looking to turn around on him is FlyQuest. They're trying to focus down Palafox, but they can't quite do it. Gryffinn has to flash out. FBI flashes over the wall, looking to try to finish him off, but Gryffinn is fighting. Palafox comes in to back him up. The Lulu shields are there. They can't knock down FBI, but Gakgos on the top side. Flash back from Photon is not enough to keep him safe. Gakgos gets one back on the other side of the map.
Oh, Dignitas with the confidence play. I like it. They do get the extra kills, flashing over with multiple members. Here's how they started it off, though. Ashe arrow out of the brush from FBI. Right as eXyu was coming around, and Ignar had cleared that ward. So they do get the full all-in. At first you think, oh, maybe this Seraphine peel and the shield is going to be enough, but eXyu does barely finish him off, so that was huge, allowing the counterplay here. Palafox comes in, hits them all with the ultimate, and even though they turn back around, FBI doesn't hesitate. Palafox says, I'll be right there once I have my spells. And also over the wall, Ignar joining as well, pops him up with the shield. But not to be outdone, Gakgos here on Ambessa, very confident again. He had the Hex Drinker as well too, so He is chilling, goes for the full on. Another Ambessa ult, another kill.
Just like, I got mine. How are you guys doing on the other side?
Yeah. I mean, that honestly, that could be like a morale saver right there. Everybody on the bottom side just died, and they're looking around for some hope. And then Gakgos is like, "Don't worry, guys.
We got you Vision of Jarvan on the bot side."
Yeah,
that was us.
Jungle's down here.
That was us. That was us.
Honestly, though, when you know enemy jungle's down there for top laners, it's like, good.
There you go.
It's now a fair fight. I know I can all in and 1v1 this guy.
Yep, drawing pressure. But yeah, I mean, I think Serpents would actually go super hard here for Gakgos. We'll see if he wants to go. Tipper's going to get dropped by Quad, is just pushing Palafox back because there's Scrap Shield, there's the Golden Aegis, there's all of the Lulu shields. There's a lot of shields here to actually break through. So we'll be interested to see if it is going to get grabbed by Gakgos this game. As Palafox trying to bait Quad forward there, who again is missing his flash after that bot side play, and eXyu hanging around. They are going to look with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, will not connect. And meanwhile, FlyQuest will get this second dragon that they had started before that scrap, but of course pulled off once the fight broke out.
Yeah, so the timer on the dragon stacking is still going to be delayed because of all the fighting that went on, but they are going to keep it, you know, as one of their big win cons here. If you can get this team over to a dragon early, and you're stacking them, you draw the enemy to you, you have really, really big opportunity to turn off of it with, again, the things we were talking about. Annie with the flash, you have Ambessa and Gakgos who's been nailing these ults after ults. And once you're all the way in there with Ambessa and Pantheon ults in and your Seraphine can just bounce the ult off the top of your heads, it's a very dangerous turn off these objectives. So dragon stacking definitely going to be a very useful tool here for FlyQuest.
Yep. I want to talk about Dignitas a little bit, though, and the fact that they've actually been very competitive against some good teams these last couple of weeks. Of course, you see that they're 0-3. They are at the bottom of the standings, but they got a good win against Liquid. They got a good win against Lion. They are putting together some pretty impressive individual games, and you have to give them the respect for that. So this is the power rankings in the middle, the initial power rankings from the LCS broadcast. So they're going to look for a pick here onto Cryogen. He is going to get knocked up, CC down. That should be an easy kill. But this were their opponents. You know, power ranked aggregate first was Lion, and then third was TL, and they did go 1-2 against both those teams. They are now against another team that we had power ranked in that top 4, and we'll see if they have an opportunity here and are going to be able to actually get a series win, which would be huge against FlyQuest.
I just want to say props to the observers for the lead up of that kill, because the observers just showed us all the wards being laid down, and then you had Cryogen as we get another chunk of health. Cryogen killed the pink ward finally that we were talking about for quite a long time. So they see him clear that one, and they see Gryffinn clear the one in front.
Ooh, Grand Starfall, they're looking for the dive onto Palafox, but Gakgos is already low. Don't think this one is going to work, and Ignar is rushing out there. Gakgos going to have to be careful on the exit. Might actually be forced to flash. Nice side steps on the spells, though, as Gryffinn getting slowed down. Will be able to just walk this one out, but that is a couple ults forced there on the bot side as Palafox able to navigate that expertly and does survive. He's now 2-0-1, about to have his flashback up.
Well, another Pantheon ult down now, so they have a little window here where they can try and push back out. Ignar covering for Palafox, again clearing all this vision. And the vision work really has set up quite a few of these plays. Ignar, again, just solo Lulu now. Because Pantheon already used ult, solo Lulu gets to go in deep and get some more deep vision. Last one did result in a very successful play for them. Ashe arrow, another swing at Quad. Quad knows. All right, yes, that's like the 7th arrow you sent at my head. Maybe I should just like hold onto my shield always.
What did he say to FBI? What did he do to him?
Sorry, not sorry.
Ran down one of his solo queue games or something. FBI just on cooldown. Here comes another one.
Even when he moves to top lane, just gotta nail this Annie. Honestly, though, look at the other champions. They're all pretty hard to hit as well. You know.
Nah, I like my story more.
Yeah, the personal grudges.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just make up a grudge match.
The grudges that are tearing the LCS players apart. Ezreal's pretty hard to hit, even though that was actually his successful arrow.
Yep, exactly. And now Tipper's going to get dropped again onto Photon, and this time Gryffinn is here. Photon could be in some trouble. Teleport coming up, but Dignitas is ready to respond. The Ambessa is going to be TPing in the middle of the team, and so is TP on the top side as Palafox getting chunked down. Cryogen arrives. Photon's going back to base. eXyu eXyu is in a world of trouble. Has to flash away from the Encore, but gonna get stunned up and knocked down. Gakgos gets another, and he wants more. Gryffinn flashes forward. Palafox goes between worlds as Gakgos flashes past the tower. Massu has arrived, and FlyQuest are still chasing them, but FBI is arriving on the scene here. Massu and Gryffinn should be able to walk this one out. Ignar trying to stop Gakgos. He is able to stop the base. Gakgos has to run because the teleport is coming back in here from Photon, but he doesn't have his equalizer, so I think that's going to be the end of things.
And they have an extra teleport on FlyQuest, so they send Quad down to bottom lane. So after this entire play, they use their extra teleport, push bot wave, get the minions down there. But here's a look at the start. They have the control ward, the walk over, Annie gets dropped, set up the play here. And the real difference is when two people are teleporting in, and one of them is a top laner with the role quest, you get a giant shield. So eXyu camps on Gakgos, but Gakgos comes in with that huge shield. He also doesn't even get his timing on his first EQ on the teleport arrival. Did not get that timing correct, and so he got punished immediately. Meanwhile, the Palafox teleport, he doesn't have a very big safety shield or anything. He had to get out of there. He got chunked. He had to run for his life. So kind of rough there for the Dignitas side. And
it seemed like a little bit of a panic moment for Palafox because I expected when he arrived he would just go across the veil because even if you get stunned, you're invis at least, right?
Yeah.
But instead he just spammed flash as he arrived, but you can't flash the Pantheon stun. So he still just got stunned on the other side of that and was down his flash very quickly. Going to be looking to crash this in mid lane. That is a healthy tower, but instead they're going to turn towards the dragon here as FlyQuest is trying to go for their third dragon. eXyu going to be heading into the middle of the team. The Ashe arrow is going to go splitting the uprates, and on the side, Palafox gets caught, and Palafox gets killed by Quad. The dragon is taken by FlyQuest, and the fight looks to be going their way, but FBI trying to turn things around. Gets Gakgos low. FlyQuest, though, not done yet. Massu shifts forward. That was way too aggressive. Has to pop the barrier, has to pop the flash. FlyQuest should just leave. They're low on health. They got the dragon, but Massu getting punished for a very aggressive shift in.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a dub for them because they got their third dragon, but and they got the extra kills there onto eXyu and to Palafox. Some extra summoner spells down afterwards. Take a little deep breath after that one. Set up for the Dragon Soul in 5 minutes. All good, FlyQuest. Yeah, I think they were just cooking a little bit too much there. Tried to go with the flank and then Rift Herald driving through all of them. But then they left themselves isolated, and it was a good call, FlyQuest. They all pulled down to the bottom side of the fight. So FlyQuest right now, they're making the call, okay, go down to the bottom side. Palafox is down here, and they do have that ward. And so they dropped the Tibbers. They just annihilated Palafox. Quad just dumped everything on him and blew up Palafox. So then when eXyu pops out, he didn't really have much left. It was a long Rift Herald drive down to
Massu face-checking eXyu, but will shift back over the wall. Flag drag does not connect, but the Cataclysm indeed will. And this time the arrow nailed again onto Massu.
No sums.
Keeps firing by Quad. Maybe Massu's the target.
Yep. Quad's a little bit harder to pin down. Massu, wait, is he though?
Uh-oh. Quad looking to try to get out of here. Palafox goes between worlds. In comes Gryffinn trying to back up Quad. Quad tries to run over the wall, but does get killed off there by Palafox, who now has the reset on the other side. Gakgos is just pushing down bot lane. Photon's got to get over there and try to respond because you don't want to be giving over that free plates. But mid lane is going to be knocked down by Ashe at the same time. So Dignitas winning across the map right now. Make a big play on top side and get the tower kill in mid lane.
Yeah, FlyQuest kind of falling apart here after the lane assignments and just kind of taking some weird routes. Setting up after the play. No vision and some risky movements from some carries here. Definitely good punishes for Dig. And they still, honestly, even though it is, the 3 dragons here, they've still got a very competitive shot at winning all of the rest of the fights. It doesn't really matter if you don't give up the soul. I mean, there's also a teleport for Annie, so they've got split push Annie going here, but they're just trying to create some extra time.
Yeah, it looks like they want to maybe try to start something. They were grouped very heavily, trying to fight for a vision. Massu Forced to shift back over the wall, and the arrow comes out. Nicely buffered there by Gryffinn, but the equalizers drop behind him. He has to flash out. In comes Palafox, the encore across multiple members, but in the backline is eXyu knocking down Cryogen. Quad is on the side, getting one back. Gakgos kills off one, and all of a sudden the wheels fall off for Dignitas. eXyu still alive, as is Palafox, but that is 3 kills for just the Seraphine, and eXyu might just get chased down. Quad gonna stun him up. Massu coming in on the side, and Gakgos looking to flank in behind him. I don't know if eXyu has any way out of this. He will be knocked down by FlyQuest, and now it is Baron on the table. Palafox around, has his flash, has his ult, but Griffin's just going to ult right back in and start this up. Palafox trying to chunk them down. Does get a bit of damage down on the Gryffinn, but I just can't see how we can approach and make this happen. Feels that he has to try for it, though. Throws out the 2-fold Hex, looking to get some damage down, but is stunned up there by Quad. In comes the True Shot Barrage. Palafox put incredibly low, and that is going to be the end of any shot to contest. FlyQuest without Smite claim the Baron here, and now they are on Soul Point. Now they are fully in control.
Oh man, that ramp is just a dream fight for Seraphine. The ramp is like the exact width of a Seraphine ultimate. So right here, you're going to see them retreat over this ramp and get a huge turn. All right. Stun used on Gryffinn, and he's going to flash back over. So really good kiting, and then the turn right through the ultimate, and Gakgos, look at this big ulti through him, is just, they get annihilated. Gakgos Ambessa has been hitting all game long. eXyu in the back line, of course, does at least punish Cryogen and kill the Seraphine, but Seraphine's job was already done.
Yeah,
Cryogen,
I pressed R, buddy.
Yeah, well done, soldier. Worthy death.
Yeah, Seraphine taking center stage. Beautiful ult by Cryogen there. And it is now just about 15 seconds until that Ocean Soul is up and available. Not the best soul, honestly, with a squishy FlyQuest team, but Palafox looking on the side, trying to get some chunk down onto Gryffinn. Nicely timed shield came through from Cryogen, though, and he pretty much absorbs the entire thing, and now Dignitas getting pushed in mid. FlyQuest will take control of the river.
All right, watch the positioning. You cannot afford to group up again and over-chase down a small line like that. So Palafox is trying to flank again. Last time he was on that bottom side dragon flank, though, he just got blown up. This time, it is Gakgos that is marking that side.
Well, the Ashe arrow did connect there in onto Cryogen. Cryogen is just going to be able to walk it out, and that's the equalizer down as well. Not a good trade for Dig, as most of that was just absorbed, and Palafox has to flash away there from Gakgos, who's pushing him out, and now Gakgos can go for the flank. They could actually look for a fight here on the other side if they want, but for now, their eyes are on the dragon. It looks like Dignitas has made the tough call to just give up the soul.
FlyQuest with another big dub. The attempts at the flanks on the bottom side here for Palafox getting rebuffed again. This time by Gakgos, so he can just go into his split push again too, and honestly, he's not under a tremendous amount of threat at all. Either solo laner, he can deal with very easily. He has his Hex Drinker still, but he's also so far ahead and so rich. He's going to take multiple members, so 4-1 split push, very easy for them. eXyu is looking for some sort of flank here, but even if they got that, he might just be dying.
Oh, Palafox tried to go for it. Insta McHale's from Ignar is not enough to save him, and Gakgos in the back line looking for the Ashe. The encore connects, and FBI has sang his final song, knocked down by FlyQuest, as Palafox just kind of wandered through the team there. Didn't even look like he was going for damage. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a little bit of mispathing, but FlyQuest, I think they're going to claim the game right off that.
It's looking good. Gakgos leading the charge here for FlyQuest in game number 1.
FlyQuest marching on the Nexus here. It's Photon and eXyu trying to make something happen. The Cataclysm comes out, but just going to donate another kill to Gakgos. 5-0-4 on the Ambessa, looking so strong on the carries. The equalizer is going to get dropped just to pad the damage numbers a little bit, but FlyQuest will eventually knock this Nexus down and claim game 1 against Dignitas.
Really good stuff, especially from the FlyQuest solo laners. Gryffinn having a very good time himself too. And honestly, after the game number 1, I don't know. Dignitas, though, they've been able to take one game versus some very strong opponents in their series already. So we'll see if they can do it again. Lounge, what's your take?
If Dignitas is one game, man, that might have been their game to win.
Oh, man, it was
Yes.
close.